Welcome to this part 2 of the 7 habits of highly successful internet marketers. In this video we're going to be looking at consistency and why it matters in internet marketing. First of all, let's dive straight in and go into practicing their craft. Now, practicing their craft is something that all internet marketers do on a regular, consistent and persistent basis. First of all, they're constantly learning. They're trying to find methods that work and methods in which they can work more effectively and work smarter, not necessarily work harder. If you can find ways in which you can do something in half the time but with the same result, then why wouldn't you do it? And the only way of finding those methods out is to be constantly learning, buying products, buying different methods, and finding out which of those methods are the most useful and can be applied to their business. They also try to remain in flow as much as possible. Now, many people kind of hear this and it sounds a little bit wishy-washy, a bit airy-fairy perhaps, but actually it's a very straightforward principle, and it's the principle that anybody who is a master at anything has ever used. For example, very good sports people try to remain in flow as much as they can. What I mean by that is that they remain within a mindset and a state of being that allows them to be creative and allows them to be the best they can possibly be. Tiger Woods is a very good example within the golf area. He's probably the best golfer in the world and the best golfer that the world has ever seen, and as a result of that he is able to command massive amounts of money and be the face of golf, if you like, in many adverts with people like Nike. The only reason that he's done that is because he's been consistent over a long period of time and he's made sure that he's remained in flow. It simply means that he's gone out and practiced consistently over a long period of time and become very, very good at the various different shots that make up the game of golf. In the same way, people in internet marketing can do exactly the same thing. They can go out and master Google AdWords, for example, for their ad campaigns. Once they've mastered that, they keep that ticking along in the background by practicing it every day or every other day, and they move on to another thing until they become masters at each of these areas. In many cases, they outsource those areas to other people, and I'm going to talk a bit about that in later videos. Also, it's important to explore each method of wealth creation to see which one is the best for you, and the only way of doing that is to find out, is to keep learning, is to look at those methods and remain in that mindset or remain in that flow of being a successful marketer. It's very important to work to goals as an internet marketer, and setting concrete goals is a vitally important part of that. By concrete goals, I mean goals that are fixed in time, that you are definitely going to do a certain thing by a certain date. So, for example, you're definitely going to make £1,000 a month, or $1,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, or $100,000 a month at a certain time, within a certain period of time. By doing that, you're able to then reverse engineer those particular goals. What I mean by reverse engineering is that you're going to look at a particular goal that you've set. So let's say that within 6 months you want to have quit your job and have a full-time income online. Well, in order to do that, you need a concrete goal. You need a specific time and a date when that job is going to finish and you're going to start making money online full-time. You also need to make sure that that goal, as well as being fixed in time, is also fixed in terms of the specificity of it, that you make sure you're as specific as possible to it. So, for example, what I mean by that is if you want to earn $1,000 a month, then you set that goal. You say it's going to be $1,000 a month. If it has to be 1,500, don't say I'm going to earn $1,000 but actually want to earn 1,500. Make sure it's really specific. If to quit your job you need $1,756 per month, then that's exactly how much you need to earn every month in order to be earning a full-time income as an internet marketer. Make sure you're that specific, and then you can reverse engineer them. You can go back and say, well, in order to achieve my goal, so in this case, let's say in order to achieve a full-time income online, I need to be able to have maybe 3 businesses, all of which earning this much money per month. In order for that to happen, I need to find a marketplace and I need to find a product. I need to sell a certain number of products per month at this price in order to get to that particular goal. And you work backwards from the goal. So you set the goal and then you work backwards to the current moment in time, using each of those little steps and each of those little points as little areas that you can check off. Many people don't work very well with long-term goals. They work much better with short-term goals. So what you can do is break your big long-term goal. So for example, earning $10,000 a month, if that's a big long-term goal for you, or even earning $1 million, you have to actually backtrack from that particular goal and say, well, in order to earn $1 million, then I need to sell this number of products every day in order to get to that goal. So that's reverse engineering. It's important to have goals at different levels: daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, even lifetime goals. And again, this is part of the whole reverse engineering thing. If your lifetime goal is to help 1 million people become millionaires, as the authors of the 1 Minute Millionaire tried to do and are still doing at the moment, then if that's your goal, then you need to reverse engineer it. You need to find out what's the daily goal that I need to hit every day in order to get to that lifetime goal. Also, what's the weekly goal I need to hit in order to reach that lifetime goal? And you need to, again, reverse engineer that particular goal and work to that goal. Be very specific and very strict with yourself in order to make sure you keep to it. It's important to do regular focused effort. And there's a thing called the Pareto principle, which many people will have heard of in one form or another. It's also known as the 80-20 rule. Now, the 80-20 rule states very simply that 80% of your results will come from 20% of the effort or from the work, and vice versa. So 20% of your efforts will produce 80% of the results, and 80% of your efforts will only produce 20% of the results. As a result, you need to try and find the 20% that produces the 80%. I hope that makes sense. Now, this works in a number of different ways, and it works in many different areas of life as well, not just in internet marketing. But when you apply it to internet marketing, it's amazing how much you can find out about your business and how much more effective it makes your business as a result. For example, if you find out that article marketing is producing 80% of your results, then that's the thing you need to concentrate on until you make it wildly successful. Perhaps you can eventually outsource it. Again, we'll talk about outsourcing later on, but maybe that's something that you need to focus on in the future. And you need to focus on it until you find something else that produces the same sorts of results, and try and minimize the things that you do every day which don't produce that many results. For example, you might spend an hour scheduling something in the morning which actually isn't useful because you could be writing articles in that time if that's where your income's coming from. It's important to schedule your success as well. Again, this goes back to making sure your goals are fixed in time, but also it goes to making sure that before you go to bed every night, that you set a schedule according to the Pareto principle. So you split the page, for example, into two portions. The top half are all of the 20% goals, if you like, and the bottom half are the 80%. So the top half are the 20% of things that produce the most results in your life, and the bottom half of the list are the things that are not as important because they only produce 20% of the results. So what you need to do is split your activities for the next day into those different areas. By doing that, you're going to be focusing on all of the important things first, and if you have time, then you can do the other things. But make sure that the important stuff gets done first that produces the most results. Your business will soar as a result of that. It's okay to take baby steps. Most internet marketers started out with a regular income, or some of them started out with even less than that. Some people didn't even have a regular job when they started internet marketing, so they had to take very small steps. But that's okay, because even when you're taking a very small step, you're moving forward. And in internet marketing, as in most businesses, you're either moving forward or you're going backwards. Nobody ever stays still. If Tiger Woods, for example, doesn't go out on the golf course and play a round of golf every day, or doesn't practice his shots every day, or doesn't compete in a competition every day, then his skills start to wane. They start to get less because he hasn't been practicing. In the same way, most Olympic athletes will train every single day, or perhaps they'll train 6 times a week, every week, in order to make sure they keep at that particular level of fitness. And that's a baby step. That one training session is something they could miss or not miss, and it would make very little difference just on that one night. But compounded over time, it's going to make a massive difference to where they end up in life. The slight edge is a very important part of this, and I've pretty much actually covered the slight edge in what I've been talking about already. But the slight edge basically is the idea that simple efforts repeated daily will make for your success. And it's based on a book by Jeff Olson, which is called The Slight Edge. I really recommend it if you haven't read it. And it's a very good example of how the success curve is created. I've put there the sharp success curve, and the reason for that is because you can go along doing the same things every single day and it wouldn't seem like you're improving very much, but of course you are. It's just very, very small efforts and perhaps not very noticeable, until one day you'll see that curve start to rise and rise very sharply because all of the work you've done has paid off. And it's important to make sure you see the world and see your internet marketing business with that perspective. You're going to be doing a lot of work for potentially for weeks, for months, before you actually start to see really solid, big results. People think that you can get big results overnight, and in most cases that's not true. As a result, you need to adopt the slight edge attitude, do a little bit every single day to improve your business. Also, it's important to have an alternative life path to make sure that you do succeed. If you have the idea in your head that you must succeed no matter what, then that's a very powerful choice to have made, and as a result you will put yourself on a different life path as a result of making that choice. So make a choice today as to what you want. Make a choice as to whether you want to earn $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month. Don't just say, I want to earn lots of money, because lots doesn't exist. $10,000 does exist. That's an actual number you could reach. Lots isn't a number you could reach, and so as a result it's not a specific goal. So make sure you have those in place. Finally, all the big internet marketers are accountable. They need to meet their goals and they need to be held accountable. Many people can do this themselves, but most people find that it's better to work in a group. So these could be business partnerships or friendships or even a mastermind group. This is a group of people who all have the same mindset as you and the same effort and willing to put in that effort as you do. As a result, you have a very powerful team around you who can say to you, have you done this? This is what you should be doing now. Why haven't you done it? If you have that group around you, then you'll find that you progress much quicker, because you're able to offer them help and advice, and in turn they can offer you help and advice in how to reach your goals that bit quicker. A mastermind group is also good because you can pool all the resources that you have. So for example, if you have just you on your own working in your business, you only have a certain number of skills and resources because you're human and you only have a certain amount of time in the day to learn those skills. Other people will have learned other skills, so you can use their skills in order to increase your business and in order to find out the information you need as soon as you can, rather than having to wade through lots and lots of different articles hoping to find an answer. So that's consistency, and hopefully you can see why it's so vital to the 7 habits of highly successful internet marketers. We're going to move straight on and onto video 3. I'll see you then.